Well, welcome, Tatiana and Charles, to the District House. I'm so grateful that you have said yes to this opportunity. And can I get a raise of hands from the audience? Who is here because they love these humans and they want to support them in what they're creating in the world? Yeah, that's right. Well, I felt so excited to hear that tonight is your first public screening of your film. And I feel like an honor already that I get to be witness to what you've been working so hard to bring to the world. So I would love to hear a little bit more from each of you, your proper introduction, because I feel there's a potency to your full name that I am curious about and want to hear more about. And any other details that you would like to offer as far as what's guided you to bring the film and yourselves to this space tonight.
You always have to do that, right? You got to tap it, make sure it works. My name is Charles Johnston, and I'll give you a brief about my experience. I grew up as a Mormon, discovered psychedelics in my early 20s, went through addiction, did Ibogaine in 2013, and that's when I began my career in the psychedelic space and began working at clinics. And I met Tatiana 9 years ago and knew instantaneously that I had to follow her around. So I proceeded to do that. And I went to the jungle with her shortly thereafter. And when I went to the jungle, it was such a magical experience that I knew at the outset that I was going to do something and share that place with many people. And so thus we have this, our first opportunity to do so is to share this film. And I'm really excited and pleased to be able to share the jungle and share the beauty that changed me and helped me transform. And we love to share this work, and we love to share the things that we've learned in the jungle and the things that we've learned from our own pursuits of spirituality, practical spirituality along that path. And so that's what we do.
I'm so nervous. I have to say that first so it goes away. Thank you. Spider. That's good luck. My name is Tatiana. I am very excited, nervous, and I'm super excited to be here tonight to share this piece of documentary with you, especially for those people that have been with us for so long time and yet didn't have opportunity to go to the jungle or know the practice there is to make medicine and be in the jungle the way that we do for the past of many years now. I am a daughter of a native in Brazil myself. Didn't have the opportunity to grow up with my parents, so was in the jungle until 10 years old. Grew up in the rest of my young life in the city to study, to go to school. Lost myself in my early 20s. Got into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Abuse of my body. Got to experience the darkness inside of myself was then when medicine showed up in my life, and the universe and medicine gave me another opportunity to be who I am today. So I'm really pleased to show a glimpse of our practice in the jungle and a glimpse of the practice that is so dear to my heart, that is to share the medicine with the world. So here we are.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for expanding on your context. And something that stood out to me is what you mentioned briefly about practical spirituality. And commoners, or people who are not super exposed to the psychedelic realms, whether that's in ceremony or in therapeutic settings, they may consider the jungle and have a lot of quick concepts of what that means. Which may feel abstract or not real for their current lifestyle. And so when I hear you say practical spirituality, that sticks, because when I hear the jungle, I also have my own concepts of what that is. So I want to hear an expansion, if we can double click on that, as to what
practical spirituality looks and feels like in your traditional practice, and also the unique medicine that is created in this partnership.
Yeah, I'll start from a more modern perspective. And for me, practical spirituality is really around just spending time every day caring for oneself and making sure that you are taking the time to pay attention to what you eat, pay attention to what you say, what you think, pay attention to reading, paying attention to art, creativity, taking care of your body, doing the things that are very simple that really anyone gets taught. But I think so often in the psychedelic space, we have these very profound and powerful experiences and believe that everything is fixed and we're all healed and it's all good. And yet there's still the work that has to be done. And so is my practice and our practice to encourage people and to remind them that it all starts in the moment you wake up in the day and what you do. When you wake up every morning, are you going to sit down and write in your journal? Are you going to walk through the day smiling at the people that you encounter at the grocery store? Are you going to drive calmly? And when those moments when you lose it, are you going to be compassionate with yourself and with others and remember to let it go and move forward? So that's, I think, a simple explanation of that. But I think everyone knows it. It's just we like to encourage it a lot because we get a chance to really provide these moments of profound experience. And so it's just an excellent opportunity to watch people transform their day-to-day, their lifestyle, their every moment, and just continue to let go of trying to please the world and just focus on themselves. So.
I love the practical spiritual concept and idea. We do that effortless without knowing, actually. But we gotta practice presence first. Practicing presence, or being present inside of ourselves and being present with our surrounding feels very easy when we say it, but it's not. We go on doing so much of our life and escaping to be present. So the practical spirituality is to just go back literally to the basic. Are you treating yourself the best way that you can do that? Are you keeping your heart open? Are your mind open? Are you calling upon your goodness? Are you present in all the corners of your life? And it takes brushing your teeth, not forgetting that. It takes drinking water, don't forgetting that. Fulfilling all the needs of this physical body and fulfilling the needs of the mind and the conscience and the heart. And when we are fulfilled in that way, then we can transform so easily and share of ourselves to the world. So we practice spirituality all the way.
And I'll say that for Tatiana, it means spending a lot of time in nature and in the garden.
Yes, the art of doing nothing is so beautiful for all as human beings to learn more of that. The practice of doing nothing is when we can actually feel what is in our heart, what is present here and now. And we cannot do enough of that. And nature offers so much abundance of that, calling us to be present, calling us to be in our heart, calling us all the time. And we don't expose ourselves enough into that. So absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love what you said about having an awareness of keeping your heart open and your channels open to be of service to your higher intention in this life. And I feel that nature is such a powerful heart opener. And whether that's just witnessing the sunset or the waves or the mountains, like that is felt, and there's a natural attraction that we have towards that experience. And I am not personally experienced with ayahuasca, but I have heard many amazing stories that plant medicine combination can also have very powerful heart-opening effects. Is there anything you'd like to share about that?
Medicine is inside of us. We don't need to drink ayahuasca or any psychedelic because medicine is already inside of us. And yet we are so lucky as human beings and being this earth that is so abundant with so many things, so many diverse experiences that we can have directed with nature. In the jungle, we practice being in nature. You can watch the people naturally navigating into the realm of nature, and nature become them, or they become nature itself. And from that place of centeredness, from that place of pure peace inside, they can share with each other. So there is so much medicine in nature itself. Like sitting in nature and watching can be so fulfilling and so healing for us, more even sometimes than drinking ayahuasca. And yes, we have ayahuasca, like it's the jewelry in a crown per se. We have awareness, we have a spirit that is awakened inside of us, and we don't have a practice to awaken that. We drink medicine to remember. Like I like to think of medicine like a little key to open all the doors that we have inside of us. What is inside of us, or inside of those doors, is us, that we have to encounter more parts of us, to embody more of who we are into this body, flesh and bones. So it's a great practice. Ayahuasca is a great practice, but it's not an answer, because I also see a lot of people looking for psychedelic in general, looking for ayahuasca or any other psychedelic in order to find answers or resolution or resolve their life. No medicine is like that. Medicine is just a glimpse of a reminder to yourself that you are the medicine, that you are the consciousness, that you gotta practice to awaken that is inside of you already. So yes.
I love that, and I resonate, and thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I am really appreciating the way that you're making like the access to the medicine here now and accessible, because this is definitely one of my unconscious but becoming more conscious responses to thinking about Peru or going to the jungle, is whatever version of my resistance is not having time for that or not having resources for that. And I think many people feel similarly or have similar stories. And so I love receiving this transmission from you that it's actually not about that. That is actually something that we can access and remember within ourselves with tools and experiences that we already are happening, and sometimes are happening unconsciously or in autopilot. And what I feel you're providing is an invitation to become more aware of those experiences and the sensations that they bring and the insight that may come as we expand more presence with what's occurring for us on the inside and on the outside.
Absolutely. We don't have to go to the Amazon to be connected to our heart and to be connected to nature, especially to this planet. There is nowhere that you're going to go if you are in this planet that you're not going to have nature supporting you, giving you life. So it's amazing to have the experience to go to the jungle. Absolutely. I invite all human beings to have that experience once in a lifetime, because it connects us to ancestry, it connects us to deep root, it connects us to an awakes love for this earth that we didn't find it before in our heart. So, but we don't need to go to the Amazon. We have a little plant and we can already feel fulfilled, contemplating the plant grow and give it flowers, right? And the nature that we are, even when we are in big cities and we don't have even a plant to contemplate, or a tree, or a piece of bare ground, we have this nature right here. And this nature, this is the temple of nature, and is walking in flesh, so we can also contemplate the nature inside of us. Inside of our heart is a great portal that takes us straight to nature, the most pure nature that is inside of us. So it's beautiful the way that, so many ways that we can become aware to cultivate that what is organic and natural to human being in this earth. And I feel that we forget so much of that. That's why I feel the psychedelic is so popular lately, because we have walked so far from our spirit. We have walked so far from our nature. So then earth somehow brings out the flowers, bring out the medicine up, and so we don't forget, don't keep forgetting. Let's remember, and we drink medicine, we do meditation, we contemplate nature, we admire all that is giving us life, and we become present with that, and we become awakened. And that is the goal, to awaken all inside of ourselves, so we can be awakened humanity in this earth.
We're receiving that remembrance now. Thank you. Yeah. And I feel like you've brought the medicine already, and there's more to be shown in your film. And is there anything that you want to share about either the film that you're about to share or any part of the process that feels memorable?
Yeah, I think it's important to share that this film is, it really had to do with a lot of people. And our co-producer, Jose Ma, was really the stimulation of this happening. Every time we go to the jungle, we take people with us, and we were fortunate to take a filmmaker about 6 years ago, and he filmed some things, he took some stuff, and then it just kind of laid and waited and germinated. And then a couple years ago, another person came along and became interested in what that was, what we had, and then we got supported by the community. And the community came out and helped make that a possibility for us to go down and film more. And so that gave us this charge to go and to do it. And just, I have to thank Tatiana for the intimacy that she allows us into her life, and for being on camera all that time and showing us what it's like. It's just such an effort to, be filmed and go through interviews and tell all these details about your life. And so I'm just super grateful for it. It's taken years to come to fruition. It was just a small little seedling many years ago, and somehow became something special. And we hope that it continues to grow. And I think that's probably the most important thing I've learned of this, is that really the changes and the magic start and take a long time. They don't happen instantaneously, and they take a lot of support from everyone around you. And so it's really just about holding the intention, holding the belief, and sticking to it. That's what I do. I'm kind of just, I stick to it. I'm persistent, and eventually something happens. So I'm just really grateful to have been able to be a part of it, carry some buckets, and do my part in the whole thing. And to our filmmaker, Alexia, who isn't here, she's in Spain. Both Jose Ma and Alexia are there, and just her amazing ability to catch the right light, the right angles, and I turned something that we were really hoping to make it a little bit different from the other films out there. We wanted to make a piece of art rather than a film just trying to tell people about how great ayahuasca is, because the only people that know how great ayahuasca is typically are the ones that drink it. But we wanted to provide something that would allow those to see just the beauty of the jungle, and the beauty of this work that we do, and the work that many do down there. So, yeah, and to our teachers and those that helped.
I felt so inspired to share this glimpse of a document, to also share with the people that doesn't have the opportunity to go to the jungle, or doesn't have the means, like you say earlier, to go to the jungle. It's not in their life plan to go to the jungle, but they dream about the jungle, nonetheless. So it's a beautiful way also to give them a little glimpse of what is the jungle and what is the practice of preparing medicine in the jungle, and show you our teachers living in the jungle, and he doesn't come out ever outside of the jungle. So also showing him to the people that didn't get an opportunity to go there, and just have a warm feeling in their heart. And what is it, this practice that is so dear to us?
Yeah, thank you. Well, we're going to be the first public witness of this film tonight, which is very exciting.
Misconception number one is you're gonna die when you drink ayahuasca. That's true. In so many levels, we die when we drink ayahuasca. the medicine is called the vine of the soul. The elders believe that the vine is here to assist the humankind to learn how to properly die. The death that I am talking about is emotional, is psychological, is mental. And then when that time comes for the last death to take place, you'll be so prepared.
Ejemplo increíble para mostrar que hasta en la muerte hay belleza.
You're gonna die when you drink ayahuasca. But death is a continuation.
That was so super sweet. And I just want to say to you, Charles, I understand why you wanted to follow her around. And it was smart to bring the camera crew. Yeah. There was an experience for me of like, are you even real? Yeah. So thank you for that. And I'm wondering how that felt for you to be in this audience and in this community witnessing that.
There is no words that can express when we can share from our heart, and what we can share from our heart can be well received from other hearts. I feel human beings as one collective humankind desire the most to awaken themselves inside. And when one of us awake a glimpse inside of ourselves, we can inspire so many, directing, affecting heart to heart. So for me, there is no words to share that can really explain how my heart feels, to share that what I most love, and to see glimpse of inspiration in other hearts.
Yeah, for me it was just really fun. It was really fun to sit here and listen to the reactions and to think about what's next.
Yeah, even though it's the beginning of the public scene, the film, it's also the end of its like creative process to a degree, and so space has been created for you to start to envision, is what I receive and make of that. Yeah, well, that makes me excited. I'm ready to see more already. Yeah. Something that stood out to me is when you first received the Icaro from the waters, and I felt like it was great to see your humanness or where you had come on your journey, to not have a connection to the metaphysical or the experiences beyond the physical. And I felt that was a very sweet, like an important experience, initiatory experience for you. And I'm curious to hear more about your process of receiving, and whether that's song or just guidance. I'd love for you to share about that.
It's a great question. It is still to this day like a great thing for me. I would say curiosity, for a lack of better word, to discover more of the mystery, right? The mystery, the place that we all come from. The mystery of the invisible world and realm that we are interacting all the time, but we don't see with our eyes. So at first, interacting with that field, I felt very afraid. I was very scared to know that there is another existence right here next to us that we don't really interact, direct, or we see with our eyes, but yet we are in it all the time. So to open up ourselves and to open myself to it at first, and to this day, I still have a deep goosebumps that comes up, into my core when spirit manifests. When medicine open ourselves so we can actually feel more of our spirit, so we can feel more of the spirit in our surrounding. So receiving the echoes, the voices that comes in form of so many languages that we cannot even grasp the quantity of knowledge and language, many different dialects that comes through, and you gotta remember one syllable. You gotta remember one note. You gotta remember, and it takes many years. The elders believe that we are never ready when we go into this studying nature, studying medicine, and studying ourselves, our presence, the spirit that is awakened inside of ourselves. So we go on through our whole life experience and learning from that, so we can embody more of that great spirit in this flesh and bone.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm really receiving what I'm perceiving as one of your gifts is to be a voice, to really ground and make accessible these sometimes abstract concepts of spirituality and really what it comes down to in relationship to ourselves and in our human experience on this earth. So thank you for sharing your voice, and thank you for being courageous to share this film with us tonight and to continue to share it. And I had another question for you. And it's about ceremony space and holding space for ceremony. And I can assume why you love that. But I also want to hear, what are some of your favorite moments of ceremony, or what's something that you really appreciate about being able to hold that space for people?
Ceremony is my favorite practice. It's the favorite thing for me to do, effortless. I do as a work because it is a great effort that we have to do to hold the space, prepare ourselves throughout our lives to do that, do all the diets and do all the isolations and all the fasting and all of that. But in my heart, I will do that to the last day of my life, because the fulfillment that I feel when someone drink medicine and get to know deep themselves, there is no price for that. That is my very favorite thing to experience and to witness, when someone drink medicine and remember what they forgot. And remember that their spirit inside is alive. It's so beautiful. It's everything. So I would do to the day I die to see all of us awaken, because I have this desire in my heart to see all of us human beings as I awaken myself every single day of my life, doing the spiritual practice that I do to awaken all of myself. That is the dream of my life, of my heart, to see all human beings doing the same, awaken themselves, so we can be one upon this earth.
My experience of you is that you're so pure and so much sweetness and innocence. And I also see you in how well cultivated you are. And it's obvious that you're a student of life and that you study deeply within yourself, and as well in all the ways that you have. And thank you for sharing that activation of remembrance with us.
Absolutely. And thank you too. I feel it's a great reminder. What you see in me is inside of you, and we go on as human beings forgetting that the nature of humankind is pure. Our nature is purity. And we go on believing into the distortion of a society and forgetting the purity that we are. And medicine and all the spiritual practice that we practice is all the way back to the heart, a way back to the innocence that we hold inside. And when we go far from that nature, we struggle and we suffer. So all that you can do, contemplating nature, drinking medicine, opening your heart, all the ways that you can do that to go back to that nature is all we are here for. So yes, we are pure and innocent in our nature. And may we cultivate more of that. I will live my life upon this earth reminding myself and those around me of exactly that, of the great spirit that we have embodied in this body. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I fully receive that. And I want to ask you, Charles, is there anything in particular that like you want to name as things you've learned through Tatiana's reflection?
Boy, yeah, that all my problems are my own. She has continually reminded me from the beginning that anytime I have a complaint, anytime I see a problem, any issue I have outside of myself, I have to just look inward, and vice versa. All the goodness that I see in others, that is simply a reflection of myself. And so she has continually reminded me of that through the good times and the terrible ones, and it has took a long time, but it has finally started to mature. I feel a couple more decades and I'll be there. But yeah, I think that has been the greatest thing, is that the stillness is all upon me to create. So yeah, and that it's possible. That it's possible.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I've heard you mention a couple times contemplate nature. I have my own interpretation of what that means. But for myself or anyone listening, how can we start that practice? And because when I hear contemplate, to me, I think thoughts. Thoughts happen in contemplation. And I'm wondering if that's accurate to your practice.
Thank you. There is a great question for clarifying. Contemplation for me is to watch. I just watch. Like a child, like if you remember when you were a child, or if you have children around you, you can watch the child learn watching the adults. The child watches nature as well, to learn from nature and from learning from the grown-ups around it. So when we watch, we help also to quiet our mind when we are truly in the present watching something. You watch a plant today and tomorrow she's going to be different. And you notice that. If you're watching it, you're going to notice that it's not the same plant tomorrow. The same thing goes to the state of our mind and our thoughts. Sometimes we don't have a plant to watch. Maybe we can watch the ants just going around, And the perfection that we can find in nature, how everything is imbalanced. And then that can serve, we already observe watching the perfection of nature, just watching it. We can already integrate into our system. We forgot, we are so fast accelerating into this system that we live in, that we forget that. And we get sick, our body gets sick when we are not in tune with our nature or in tune with nature itself, right? That is sustaining and giving us life. So to contemplate nature, you can watch the sky, you can watch the sunset, and allow you to have a thoughtless state, allowed you to have a silence and quietude inside of your heart, inside of your mind. So you can allow your whole system to recycle, to come alive again, and do all that it does naturally, just by that, watching nature and watching life itself, the magnificent life all surrounding us, giving us life all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going slow, it takes time to just contemplate and watch. Watch your thoughts. Watch the feelings in your heart. You will see, you become so much more awakened and health as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Thank you for sharing that clarification. Yeah. Sweet. Well, I'm feeling curious to turn it to the audience to see what questions are brewing with this crowd. And my request is just to be in awareness that other people have questions too. And so let's take it one at a time, and we'll pass the mic. Paxton will pass the mic. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand.
I'm curious about your first experience with the medicine. You said you were living in New York, which is not necessarily everyone's ideal, set and setting for ayahuasca. I don't know if there was somebody guiding or if your friend, had some experience with this, but how did that come about and what was that like, and what was, how did you access it in that setting?
Thank you for that question. I feel coming from the jungle myself and having roots in the jungle, I feel it's something organic and natural that just happened naturally without so much resistance. But at the same time, I was ready. I was in the bottom of the well, per se. No, I was in the limit of my pain. I was decided that I wanted to die. There was no more choice for me. I don't want to live anymore. I wanted something to take my life out. And I was giving up of life. I was about 3 months in this tiny studio in New York and drinking only alcohol until I pass out, wake up, and drink it again. I was there in this length of time when a friend of mine knew that I was going through that, and she went to Brazil in vacation. We studied same school at the time, and she come back and she knew that I was going through that. She said, I know you want to die, drink this medicine. There was no ceremony setting at all. It was more like a saving someone that is about to jump from the cliff. So we made a meditation setting in the studio that I was living at the time, and she gave me one cup after the other, because I drank the first cup and I didn't feel anything, and I drank the second cup and I didn't feel anything. So I drank the third cup, and she said that is not what they do in the ceremony. And I say, I need to feel, I need to really have this experience, because if I don't, then the cliff is right here. So I was desperate in a way. My spirit was desperate, and I just wanted to dive with all that I had. So it was very, at the time, what we felt called to do at the time, sit there, drink medicine till I go inward with the medicine. And going inward with the medicine, after the third full cup of medicine, I was gone. There was no more sense of identity, Tatiana, body of Tatiana. I was in the journey. And it took me back, right back where I started. Where I was born in the jungle, it took me to the jungle. I was born among people from the jungle. It took me to the circle of the people in the jungle to remind me, you belong, you have a place. And yes, it was really profound. That it inspired me to go, give up all my life that I had at the time to go back to the jungle where I felt was my home.
I have a question about the movie, which is what happened that sparked the idea of making the movie, and even when that spark happens, which I think it happens often around ayahuasca, what fueled, yeah, in Los Angeles, what fueled the process of going all the way through with it to make it happen?
What inspired me the most was, one, having a very compelling character that I felt that the world needed to see. I felt that was incredibly important, that more people see her. That's been my mission since I met her, is how can I share her with as many people as possible. And secondly, the place. That location you saw there, Mayantiaku, is it's my favorite place in the world. It's the most amazing place I've ever been. There's a boiling river in the middle of the Amazon jungle. And to drink medicine in that place and to witness yourself and witness nature amongst that is such a profound experience, that I felt that magic had to be brought. It had to be translated. It had to be shown to other people. Other people need to go. Other people need to see that, because, there's so many people that are going to Disney World, or they're going to the Santa Monica Pier. They're going to all these places that are, who cares? And there's this place in the jungle that all you have to do is sit and watch the water and watch the steam and be there, and it changes you. It changed me, and I saw how it changed her, and I felt that had to happen. I really think the creation of the film was just luck. It was luck that we took the right people there that wanted to film. It was luck that certain conversations happened, and it was just kind of threads being tossed down to us from the sky, and we're pulling them and seeing where they go. And it, I didn't expect it to happen. I don't know. I just wanted to make it happen. I just wanted to create it, and it really was to share it with the people that sit with us. That was the real message. Is there's so many that sit with us that experience this, and I wanted them to know and see what it's like there. I wanted them to have a connection to that. And I felt that was important. So. And also, she's so good unscripted that it's like I gotta get a mic on her and everything. It's just magic.
Hi, Tati. Hi. Could you share with us a little bit about how it's been for you being a woman in a field that is predominantly men?
Thank you for that question. Ayahuasca community is dominated by the masculine, absolutely. In the jungle you go, the curandeiros, the shamans, we don't use that word in the jungle, but curandeiros is the word that we most use. So curandeiro in the jungle is most men. Because it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough practice. Not many women have courage enough to isolate themselves in the jungle with one machete only, you know, and a roof of leaves. There is so much that can go on in that. So it takes some deep courage and gut, you know, so you can go into the initiation that takes. So yes, I'm really proud to be a woman and to be inspired to be doing this practice, and to all the women that do the practice of a psychedelic and preparing themselves to hold space in such a way. We need more women, actually, women, be inspired to do that. I feel because it's dominated by men, of course we're going to feel a lot of resistance coming in as a woman, right? But that doesn't diminish our heart, doesn't diminish our message, doesn't diminish our power in the field as well. There is a lot of push of the masculine that is strong. They're sitting for a really long time in those places. And I do feel that push. But I don't take it so to my heart, and I don't take it personally neither, because there is a system in place that is in place for a really long time. I focus more into showing up with my heart. I focus more into become who I become, so I can be the example for those around me, for the women, for the children, for the girls, that they can see that, yes, it's possible for us to become as well. And for the women that are out there and they inspire me so much, great teachers, you know. And you see, when you see them close, they go through so much to stand where they stand. So much gratitude for that. And for the men also, that support the women to be in those places as well.
I have a question about lineage and tradition and like your opinion on that. Because we're in America and there's like all kinds of people serving all kinds of medicines. And I'm trying to like rack my brain around that. Like I saw yesterday a guy who has like no connection to spirit, who's just like totally running a business with it. So I was just wondering like what your opinion is about like people serving with tradition and lineage, and then people serving without tradition and lineage, and any insight on that?
Thank you for that question. That was a lot of us from the jungle, especially the elders that have been holding tradition since the beginning of time. There is a lot of this missing and miscarrying of the medicine. But if we see in a world where there is no corruption, where in a world that there is human being, collective of human being, that we cannot find corruption. There is no such a place. That place doesn't exist. If there is human being involved, and while we awaken ourselves, there will be corruption. So we cannot focus on the corruption itself. We cannot focus on the darkness and the way that the medicine being misused. So many people dying by the misuse of medicine. Not just ayahuasca, but so many psychedelics out there. People are dying of misusing of psychedelic. But there at the same time is teaching other people watching that to do maybe a better practice with it, to become aware of properly using a medicine that is so powerful. So there will be hours darkness. There will be never perfection and balance forever, because we learn from the distortion. We learn from this. We are in the middle of this world, distortion all over the place, war going on everywhere, in an attempt, deep attempt of the universe to awaken all of our heart. So it serves us, instead of me feeling, oh my God, when we are going to stop, or judging even those that are misusing and mishandling the medicine. I will focus in my work into bringing more awareness. It's our individual responsibility to learn all the things that we wanted to practice in our life and become. So then, if we wanted to experience with psychedelic, let's learn about psychedelic. Let's learn about tradition. Let's learn about who serve and who serve it well. Let's learn about all of the practices of people have in their life. Let's learn, and then we're going to make better choices, and then those type of distortions are going to be lessened. So it's an individual responsibility and an individual choice as well. And in the other way, I feel that even when the medicine is being misused or mishandled, it's serving us to learn, right? It's serving to learn to do better job. We gotta do so much better job here. But it's not only psychedelics, but in so many areas of humanity. So then we see the darkness, we learn to do better with the light and the awareness and the consciousness that we have. When I see that, I still see that the medicine continue to travel. It's the same thing with consciousness. Consciousness continue to travel. Doesn't matter if there is war, there is atrocity, consciousness is still rising. The medicine the same way. Medicine is going to continue to travel and go into the four corners of the world no matter what. If it is well done, not well done, it's going to continue to travel. In a way, is a way to awaken us to the higher consciousness so we can make better choices ourselves.
First, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I find it really interesting how I feel we all feel a sense of deep beauty being conveyed by the film and by your presence. But I'm very fascinated with also the aspects of fear that you were talking about. And I'm curious as to how you deal with also the darkness within yourself. I feel like you're a very light person, and I could feel it. But we all have that duality, and I was very curious how that manifests within yourself and how you go about that. And also fear during the journey as well.
Great question. One of my favorite questions. We are so used to be light, and we light all the way, light. We just talk about light and right and left. We only want to hear about the goodness of light. But we cannot be the goodness of light if we are not embracing true intimacy with our darkness. There is no such a thing. There is deep light, absolutely, and deep conscious only when we access the deep darkness, the deep fears inside of ourselves. And I've done that. I feel like, in a way, that practice was what brought me here and what accelerated my process into my awakening. So much of the fear, so much of the distortion, all the traumas that I went through, and all the conditions in my mind. I grew up in a family that was Christian, so there was a lot of limitations and conditions in my mind that I had to overcome. I had to learn not to be afraid of the most darkness inside of myself. And what to do with that when you encounter the darkness inside of yourself. Most of us, human beings, we wanted to just run from it with all our might. We are more afraid of that than even that itself. We prefer to die than to encounter and face our darkness. Darkness is beautiful. Actually, the darkness is where we come from. We are completely distorted, right? In the womb, there was darkness, deep darkness. And from that seed of darkness, light was sprouted. Without the darkness holding the firmament, the cosmos in place, there will be no firmament or cosmos in place. So there is a lot of beauty and medicine into the darkness that we hold inside of ourselves. Unconsciousness, the shadows that we see upon this earth comes from unconscious. Pure darkness, unconscious inside of a humankind. Then hence the importance for us to be curious about the darkness. Because the darkness hidden away somewhere inside that I don't want it to be, and I don't want it to look, and definitely not me, is going to cause war upon this earth. It's going to cause war inside of us. It's going to cause war among us. Hence again the importance for us to be a friend and know this darkness that lives inside of us. It can be a fruitful terrain for us to give fruits and flowers, or it can be something that brings us to destruction when we don't know it. When we don't know our darkness, the darkness is alive and affecting like nothing else your life, all the corners of your life. But if you know it well, it becomes your ally. So I'm not afraid of my darkness anymore. It still gives me goosebumps when I look at it. When I am in contemplation of the darkness, especially when I'm in isolation and I go deep into the roots, it gives me goosebumps. But I don't feel like running away from it anymore, because I know the more that I can witness it with all my presence, it can give me gifts, it can give me fruits, and I can truly know then the light within me. Because if we didn't have the darkness in the sky, there will not be appreciation for the stars, right? So then I learned to love, appreciate, and learn from the darkness that I carry inside of myself. So then I can truly shine bright in my heart.
Yeah, and I'll just really quickly put a practical spin on that. She gets angry too sometimes. She really, she's quite fierce sometimes, and I think that's something that we reflect on a lot, is that all the emotions, all the spectrum of emotions and upsetness and anger and pain and jealousy and sadness and hatred and all of that violence, it's part of us. We're not separate from it. We're not better than it. We're not any of that. If other people are exhibiting it, then so are we to that. And so we have to then embrace and understand, because it all comes from the same place. It's just the essence of life. That perfect essence of life contains it all. So, yeah.
And the part about fear in the jungle, I feel that when we don't know all of ourselves, the holiness inside of us, we're going to be very fearful. So fear is informing us all the time, right? If I'm in fear of an ant, that fear itself is the door for me to enter and practice. What is that? This ant, the expression of this ant will give me so much fear. There are fear being storage, because we learn that. As in society, we learn to storage all of that. Unconscious is just that. So then be curious. In my life, I'm always curious to know, why is the fear coming here? Why is so dark inside of this mind? Why this type of thoughts? So then I can get to know more and then release the fear, and then something else is going to take place. The jungle it can be very scary to be in the jungle, especially as a woman, that we feel like, oh my God, I'm a woman, come as a man, I am just have a machete. There is a lot that we have to be concerned, absolutely. But if you can be curious about it, overcome that fear, you can discover that you are powerful and nothing can stop you. And the fear of the ant can transform me. All the bigger fears that you had for life, for your life, with your relationships, and with how you open your heart and how you give of yourself. So all the fears that present themselves into our mind, into our life, can be great doors for us to learn deeper about ourselves, so we can give more of ourselves.
We're gonna wrap the audience Q&A. I appreciate everyone's offerings of their questions and curiosities for Tatiana and Charles. I have a couple questions to close us out, and I'd love for you both to respond if of interest. The first is about your perception of the afterlife, or what occurs beyond this physical body. And if you like how that relates to your relationship to the plants.
I absolutely love that question. I feel when we start doing psychedelics in general, we enter into a mystery school. An organic, alive mystery school that happens between our conscience and the conscience of the whole, right? So when I started practicing with the medicine, there was so much that was revealed to me into the non-physical realm. And this continuation of life is one of the most great interesting that I have to understand and learn, continue contemplate into it. Life is not just here, right? Life is taking place here and everywhere else in this universe, as in this right moment in time, in space. Life is doing the same thing in the visible realm as well. I do like to think that this is just one little small glimpse of the continuation and the foreverness of ourselves. I feel the way that we love it right here, now, as this heart beating today, the way that you love, the way that you share of your love, and the way that you receive your love is the way that you perpetuate many lives to come of more of that of yourself. We know a lot about the incarnation and the whole subject on itself. For me, in my practice, I like to practice that, right? I have many out-of-body experience. I have many vivid dreams that take me into those studies, right? And having those experiences for me, it's difficult for me with words really to express it. Sometimes we read in a book and then we understand the concept, right? And we can keep reading books and understand the concept. When we have altered state of experience with the medicine, like we have with the medicine, we can have a straight experience. Like I can tell you about God, or you can have experience of being God yourself. I can tell you about love, all the concepts about love, or you can embody love itself and feel from that perspective, right? So then I do feel that life is the continuation, not just in this flesh and bones, but into the mystery beyond of the beyond. And what perpetuates ourselves is the way that we give and receive love. Yes, and we go on and on. There is a wheel of continuation, right? That we keep coming back and going, coming back and going. And there is also the option of coming out of that wheel as well. The way that we practice to be awakened here and now is going to give us more chance to come out of that wheel. That is very clear with the medicine. As we go on exploring those studies, it's dear to my heart to discover more and more about that, but also give you in your bones the knowing that this is not only here. It's not limited to this small glimpse of life that maybe we live for 100 years. It's not limited for 100 years of life. It's a continuation that there is no end. So we can be practicing to be better human beings today, and when I go away, I'm going to continue to do that. Right? As a spirit, no flesh, and then as flesh again, and as a spirit, no flesh, and as a flesh again, and goes on and on. It opens up our mind for the conception of continuation of ourselves, not limiting our life ourselves to just this life only. And if I don't do in this life, what is going to happen? You know, it's very limited way to think. Imagine this great universe that we belong to be limited like that. If it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel organic. So when we drink medicine, we navigate into all those directions and we understand it's so beyond of the beyond that it's hard to put in words. And I invite everyone to have their own experience so they can experience themselves what is that. Through medicine, through meditation, through practice of being present here and now, to loving one another, to loving yourself, and to brushing your teeth every day, and breathing properly, and on and on.
Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to it. That's all I can say. Well, who knows? I'm curious. Yeah, that's where I leave it. I'm curious what happens.
Beautiful. Well, I so appreciate you both sharing your presence and your voice with us tonight, and it's been so awesome to receive you and to receive the energy of the film, and I feel excited about what's next for the documentary continuation as it will continue to develop and unfold. And I did want to give space to talk about the Ayashakti retreats, and that is your creation, and if there's anything you want to share about how to stay connected with you.
Yeah, it's just go to the website, ayashakti.com, and we have a newsletter. Yeah, ayashakti.com. And we go to the jungle once or twice a year. We go to Peru, to where you saw there. We're developing the center, Pumayaku, alongside where Mayantiaku is. And we will continue to do that. So if you have a desire to go to the jungle, just come on. Come on. And also, we'll have more offerings in the future. We really hope to see where this film takes us. We also have some other opportunities to do some media in the future. So more to come. And you can follow us there. Or you can we're on Instagram as well, Ayashakti Retreats.
Cool. Well, thank you both, and thank you, audience. Shout out to all the travelers who came from outside of Santa Barbara to join us, and everyone who's here in the 805 community. Thank you. Come again next week, or the next week, or the next week, and I will see you then.